I believe I'm now joined with Manny. He's with me right now. What's going on, man?
Hey, how you doing? How you doing?
I'm doing real good. And before I go any further, I want to apologize for the mix-up. I could have sworn I posted Friday, but it turned out to be Saturday. So I was lucky enough to reach out to you as quickly as I can, and now here you are. And I thank you for being on this evening, man.
Yeah, no problem, no problem. I'm here to serve and talk to the fans and let everybody know what's going on over here in South Florida.
Well said, man. So let's go ahead and begin, and let me start off by asking you, what got you started into the wrestling business? How did it all started off for you?
It started at 9 years old when I used to watch Pedro Morales wrestle, and when he was at WWF. Uh, from there, I became a big fan and always wanted to do what he used to do. So as the age goes by, I ended up going back to Puerto Rico, and I had the opportunity to train with one of the trainers in Puerto Rico, which his name is Sangre Taina. Um, he took me under his wing, gave me the name Manny Morales, Manny from my name, and Morales to attribute to Pedro Morales.
That's awesome to hear, man. Especially you having your last name named after him. It's and what I appreciate about that is that you remember the people that paved the way, especially people of your color and everything. And you know, it, I guess what's lacking in wrestling is people seem to forget about the pioneers, the legends, the icons that paved the way. So for
You
you,
know, I sorry to interrupt you. What's missing in wrestling nowadays is the respect that these new guys come and the lack of respect in the locker room. Um, don't give them that respect to the veterans. The way I was brought up, I don't know a lot of the culture in Puerto Rico in wrestling is totally different than the culture in the United States. Puerto Rico is a strict culture in the wrestling business, and they say if you ask any wrestlers, United States wrestlers, American wrestlers have gone to Puerto Rico and wrestled there, they'll tell you that Puerto Rico is the best wrestling school in the whole world because there they teach you a lot of stuff that a lot of fans that don't know what happens behind the scenes. How we have to live when we go over there as a visitor. They don't have a hotel room for us. We have to sleep in a car. We don't have, the paydays are not what they promise. So we have to eat raviolis from cans. I mean, it's a lot of stuff that goes on, and that's how it makes you mature in this business.
well said, man. And it like you say, it is all about respect, and people treat people the way that you want to be treated. I guess what it all boils down to, and I guess sometimes egos get into the way, but the wrestling business will make you humble if you're not careful. Um,
Exactly.
it will definitely make you humble. Um, do you remember the first ever wrestling match that you ever had, and if so, who was your opponent and what company did you work for?
My first match ever was in 1989 with my own brother. He used to go by the name of Ninja Boy, and now he goes by the name of Beetlejuice. Um, it was against my brother. Uh, my brother's been practicing longer than I have. He was trained longer than I have because I was raised in the States and he was raised in Puerto Rico. So he started wrestling when he was 10 years old as a midget. And he's right now, he has over, I have 15 years in the business. He has about 20. in the business, and he that was my first match. It was something funny because I froze when I had a whole bunch of people looking at me. I just froze. But after that first smack, I woke up and I don't know when you hit somebody and it wasn't a fake smack and you felt it, woke you up, and you're like, wait a second, it's time to go on, and that's what happened. I mean, my brother beat me. I mean, but now it's totally different now.
Wow, that had to be interesting to have your first match against your flesh and blood, and I'm sure in the many years led up to that moment, you and your brother have your moments when you really want to fight each other. You tend to get on each other's nerves sometimes, but for that,
And we took it out all there.
yeah, and for
And it was actually a shoot wrestling match.
oh,
It went a shoot wrestling match. It got to the point that all the anger that we had inside of us came out of it. I mean, he hit me, I hit him, and we just went at it. But after that, we promised each other we'll never face each other again. If we're going to be in the same ring together, it's going to be a tag team, but we'll never face each other again.
I could definitely respect where you're coming from. I mean, once you've been through it one time, it's like the last thing you want to do is, have a rivalry like that against your real life brother. It's one thing for wrestlers to have characters and portray as family members, but that's not portray. That's real life. That's flesh and blood, and and it definitely helps to team up. Be on the same page with someone that you know and you trust, man. So I definitely respect you and your brother for doing that, and now you're a team, and you've been in the business for a long time. And let me ask you this, Manny: how does it feel to know that you've been in this business for so long? That you thought that it would last this long?
I didn't think that I'll be in this business this long. When I got married, I left the business for almost 5 to 6 years. I saw a match online from Puerto Rico that my brother got hurt. That really hurt. I mean, I saw my brother get hurt. I got pissed off. I was like, you know what? I'm going. I told my wife, this is personal. She told me, hey, you haven't trained in 7 years. I said, I understand I haven't trained in 7 years, but you know what? It's like riding a bike. You never forget what you got to do. And for my family, I'll go all the way. So when they broke my brother's arm in a match. So the following day that I saw the video, I bought a ticket, went to Puerto Rico, and I went into that company, but now nobody knowing, and I got on the ring and I challenged the guy that broke my brother's arm. The guy went to the hospital with a broken nose, a broken arm, and 2 missing teeth.
And the moral of the story. Oh, go ahead, continue.
And to make the story short, that's where we earned our respect. We earned our respect. Now, we did what we had to do. I mean, we protect each other. I was out the business, and I went back into the business. And when that vein starts itching, I just stood in. I just continued working.
In other words, don't mess with family. You got a problem with
exactly.
You got a problem with one person in the family. You got a problem with them all, and
exactly.
So that's a testament of that. So, Manny, do you have any upcoming wrestling shows you like to promote? Anything you have coming
Well,
up?
you know what? I am a lot of people don't know that I'm the owner and president of BMW Productions here in South Florida. We're running shows once a month. Next show will be, the last show it was Friday, and we had about 200 to 300 people, fans there. It was an awesome show. We did a, we're bringing old school wrestling back into South Florida. Hardcore angles, storylines. I mean, there's blood. People want to see old school wrestling, and that's what we're bringing back. Our next show will be March 22nd in Hollywood, Florida. Where we gonna be bringing another show. We're also gonna be on March 1st with a company called Pro. Pro is down South Miami, and where BMW talent is gonna be there, and we're gonna be invading Pro.
That's amazing, man. And how does that make you feel to be in charge of your own company? I mean, you're a promoter, you're a booker, you get to determine the storylines and angles and things like
Well,
that.
basically, I own the company. We have different talent that do different jobs in the company. I mean, I can't do everything. I go and look for the venues. I do the promotions. I told my booker, a lot of people will know who my booker is, but my booker is Rico Suave. Rico Suave is the son of Eric Estrada, which was in WWF as the Super Medico and one of the Conquistadors back in the late 80s. So Jose Estrada we get influenced by a veteran from WWF, which is Jose Estrada, we're partners with Jose Rivera in WWF as the Conquistadors. So I had the honor and the pleasure of working hand in hand with Rico Suave, which was known as Mr. Hardcore Rico Suave in Puerto Rico, Japan, and Mexico.
That is awesome, man. And everybody go check it out. And more importantly, support your local indie pro wrestling shows near you. These are some hard working men and women on the indie scene. And what's unfortunate that people may not know that there are wrestling shows near them. I mean, all it takes is some Googling and look into these shows and check them out for yourself and give them all the support. They indie pro wrestling is the backbone of pro wrestling, and without the indie wrestling, there is no pro wrestling. So,
Well, a lot of people, sorry to interrupt you, but a lot of people don't know that all these wrestlers that you see in WWE, WWF, TNA, Ring of Honor, all of those wrestlers came out of an indie company.
yes, sir.
And they pay their dues. We have to pay our dues. I say we because I was one that had to pay dues in the indie scenes, where we go and wrestle. Sometimes we have to wrestle for free. Sometimes we get paid. Sometimes we get paid with food. Sometimes we get paid with tickets. But we got to pay our dues, and that's where what BMW tries to do different. What I try to do with BMW is, you work for me somehow, some way. We got to get you a payday. And a lot of the talent could tell you that I'm only one of the companies that in South Florida will pay for your talent. A lot of the companies out here are not paying because the venue's bad, the venue's this. But I come with a secret that I learned in Puerto Rico is called sponsors. You promote your sponsors, you get money, you get your payroll. And that's how I work BMW Productions. I also want to thank my talent, all my talent that works for BMW, behind the scenes, on the scenes. They are wonderful people. We are a promotion, but we don't call us promotion. We are the BMW family because everybody's there as a family. We treat everybody as family. Something's wrong with you on your personal level, on a personal life, I find out I'm the first one knocking on your door. Because if nobody looks out for you, you never grow in this business. And that's how I learned in this business. You know, we all are family, we all look out for each other, and we grow together.
Well said, Manny, and I give you a lot of credit for doing that, and hopefully this is something that a lot of promoters and bookers can learn from. I mean, wrestling is like a it's like a family of sorts. You know, you may get on each other's nerves, but everybody's in for, well, you know, all the wrestlers, the real legitimate wrestlers such as yourself, you're all for the goal. You want to put out the best product as possible. And one more question I want to ask you, Manny, before I let you go. You being a veteran in this business, what would your advice be to anyone that wants to become a wrestler, that wants to get into this business? What would your advice be, sir?
Go to a wrestling training school, get trained the proper way. What you see on TV is not what we actually do on the ring. We have to get trained properly because you learn how to take a couple of bumps. That doesn't make you a professional wrestler yet. You know, I took bumps when I was trained for almost a year and a half, and I still wasn't a professional wrestler. I did shows for different companies. I became a professional wrestler when I did my first match in WWC with Carlos Colon, Eddie Colon, Carly Colon. Carly was, which is Carlo Caribbean Cool, WWE superstar or ex-WWE superstar. Eddie Colon, which is Primo, now he's one of the Matadors. And Orlando Colon, which is was Epico. Now he's known as Matador number 2. Or Fernando, or I don't know their names now, but that's when I became a professional wrestler, when I learned what was got to be done and how it's done, how you behave in the locker room, what you have to do in the locker room, the way we say hello to each other, the way the wrestling world's language in the locker room, and whatever the booker says, that's what you got to do. You know, we have a lot of people with ego, and please, when you start training, don't think you're the superstar. Don't think you're the star, because the stars are on the ceiling, in the sky, and they fall. You know, don't think you're a star, because you're not. And do what everything the booker says. If the booker wants you to go under, go under. If the booker wants you to go on top, go on top. If you want to if the booker says it's going to be a squash match, it's a squash match. Don't argue. Just do what you got to do. That's what you're getting paid for. Oh, that's what you're getting paid with your experience, how to work. Because we have a lot of talent here. Oh, I don't want to go back over there because they squashed me. Excuse me. You're closing your doors every time you do that. Because this company puts you on top doesn't mean because you're on top, you're going to come to another company and they're going to give you the same respect. You got to earn that respect.
Well said, Manny. Well said. And I want to thank you for joining me on the show this evening. Best success goes out to you and to your company. And again, thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Oh, well, it's my pleasure and my honor for you to have me on your radio station. Also, I want to say, just like you, BMW do have a radio also, which is on Mondays and Wednesdays on Block Talk Radio. We also have a radio station called BMW Radio, which we talk about every company in the States, Puerto Rico, and we're marketing the Latin people. Our show's in Spanish, and what we do is we talk about what's going on in WWE, just like it's what's going on the indie scenes for all the companies, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Philadelphia. All the companies we have guys that do research, and we talk about everything there. And like I said, thank you for the honor. It's an honor to have me on your show. and I hope it won't be the last.
Hey, anytime, man. I definitely love to have you back on in the future. And best of success. And go check out the radio station, man. I definitely will give it a listen. Thank you for your time, man.